All right. This is going to be part two of our branch manager training, and we're going to be diving into the most important aspect of our business, which is recruiting. And I know a lot of you guys, maybe you know some, maybe you don't know anything, but we are more than anything a recruiting business. The more people that we have on our team, the more people that are selling, the more people are selling, the more money that we are making. So recruiting is going to be our bread and butter. You have to be a solid recruiter and you have to be able to promote the opportunity of this job if you want reps on your team to start selling for you. So the first thing that I want you guys to go ahead and write down is an acronym. This acronym is RITA. And what does RITA stand for? Recruiting is the answer. Recruiting is the answer to all your struggles, all your worries. If your reps aren't selling, cool, recruit people that will. If people aren't showing up to team meeting or your PCs or your one-on-ones, people aren't answering their phones, whatever struggle that you may be having as a branch manager, recruiting will always be the answer. Just get more people in front of you. The more people that you have in front of you, the more influence you can have, the more people that you'll get, like more 10K fast starters, more people on your team, more people selling. Recruiting is always the answer to everything in our business. So the first thing I kind of want to go ahead and talk about with recruiting is the recruiting funnel. And this is going to be kind of this is going to be a very important kind of philosophy and principle when it comes to recruiting. So the way I want you guys to think about the recruiting process, I want you to think of it as a funnel. And in our previous video, we talked about the rep life cycle. We talked about the rep life cycle and all the steps of getting someone onto the team and their process once they get accepted to the job and accepted to the team. What this is showing that kind of representation. So the first kind of like part of this funnel is having people to call. This is having people to call. And then it's like the interview. And then training, day 1 and 2. And then this is reps on the team. And this is reps on the team. So it goes people to call, interviews, training day 1 and 2, and then reps on the team. So we want to have a very big funnel because the more you go through this process, the more people are going to kind of fall off. So you'll have a lot of people to call, but not everyone's going to answer their phone. You're not going to set everyone up with an interview. Everyone that you accept in the interview process is not going to show to the interview, and not everyone's going to show to training. Everyone that shows to training is not eventually going to be a rep on the team, and not everyone's going to launch through training as well, right? So for example, like let's say that we have 100 people to call, probably about 20 of them will show up to the interview and go through the interview process, or you'll be able to get a hold of. And then training day 1 and day 2, we'll probably have like 15 people at this point, and then you'll probably end up with about 10 to 12 reps that actually join your team. So it's a funnel process, and you lose more people as you get further through that rep life cycle. Now, obviously, it'd be awesome if we had 100 people to call, scheduled 100 people, had 100 people in training, and launched 100 people onto the team. But that's not realistic. That's not going to happen. You will have fall off. And so it's so important to build this main funnel right here and have people to call. So let's talk about the sources of people and how we can get more people to call. So who kind of contributes to this people to call? That's a great question. So the sources that kind of dive into people to call, we have a few. We actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 kind of sources of people to call. And we'll kind of do a deep dive into each one of these. So the number one source of having people on your team is going to be PRs. PRs is going to be so key and so important to everything that you guys do, because these are the people that have the highest PPR, or productivity per rep. These are going to be the people that sell the most. These are going to be people that are going to be willing to recommend the most. And these are going to be your best reps. This is top of the funnel. You want to very much idolize and have a big PR focus. If you build some really good PR chains of really awesome people, you're going to have some really awesome people on your rep. Same thing in the demo when you ask for recommendations and referrals. Your best recommendations, your best presentations, your best people that you sell the most to, who are they going to recommend you to? Their best 5, their best people, right? So same thing when it comes to recruiting and building a team, it's going to take PRs. The second is social media. I'm just going to abbreviate that with SM. So social media is going to be huge. So this is Instagram recruiting, Snapchat, LinkedIn, using MaxPreps, whatever it might be. Social media is going to be a huge source. Now, everyone has social media. All of your reps have Instagram. All of your reps have Snapchat. They all have those social medias. So if you don't have anyone to call and you're not very good at asking for PRs, you don't have a lot of PRs or a lot of names and numbers of people to call off the jump, you can really kickstart your office with social media. So the first one is going to be Instagram. Everyone that is in Gen Z has Instagram. And so being able to find their Instagram and being able to tap in and dive in and find the people that you want to recruit is going to be huge. So another really great source for building a good social media following and a good social media presence is going to be MaxPreps. Now, what MaxPreps is, it's for all your athletes, and it'll have rosters for the entire school. Now, me in particular, I was an athlete, so I love recruiting athletes because they just get it. They understand the idea of practice makes perfect, putting in hard work to get better at what you do. And I just connect really well with athletes. So what I would do is, like, for example, I'll go to MaxPreps, I'll look up Lewis Palmer High School, and then I'll go to their basketball roster, and I would search and follow all of the seniors on the basketball team because they're going to be graduating and they need jobs and they're qualified to do the job. So I'm looking for every single senior basketball player at Lewis Palmer. I'm looking for every single male athlete, female athlete, every single sport. I'm going to get all of their Instagram handles. I'm going to put it into a spreadsheet, and then I'm going to send them a message. And the message is pretty simple. It's just saying, hey, saw that you're an athlete at your school. That's awesome. I'm actually a recruiter. I would love to have you on my team if you're looking for a job this summertime. Plain simple like that. So with social media, it's kind of hit or miss at times. Some people respond to their DMs, some people don't respond to their DMs, but being able to build a social media presence and being able to use your Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, LinkedIn profiles to go out and actively find the type of kids that you want in your office is going to be huge and key as well. So another social media platform is Snapchat. Have your representatives post on social media. I have you guys do this during training. Just like, hey, post a picture saying that we're hiring and have a link to your Google form so you can swipe up and apply to the job, which is going to be so key and so instrumental. And those are people that are interested, and people know people, right? And so being able to have 10 people post on Instagram, yep, those are 10 people that posted, but those 10 people are connected to hundreds of thousands of reps. So thousands of people are probably end up going to see your flyer and apply to your job and apply to the job here. So social media is going to be super key with Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and LinkedIn. The next source is going to be three-way text messages, a three-way text. Now, three-way texts are awesome, and you do this in a one-on-one and in a PC with your guys' reps, with your AMs, with your top people, and the conversation is really easy and it's a really simple ask. It's just saying, "Hey, dude, you're a rock star. If I could clone you and have 10 million of you on my team, I would, because you're so much fun to work with. But unfortunately, I don't have access to that kind of technology. But the next best thing that we do have is your friends." So can you put me and about 10 people that you know that you think would be a really good job, would be really good at this job? Can you just throw us in a three-way text message and see if they would be interested? And from there, you can book them for an interview, either for a one-on-one Zoom interview, a one-on-one in-person interview, or set them for one of our normal standard Apex interviews as well. But that three-way text message is going to be dope, and that's how you're going to get the top people and the best people from your best people as well. So that's another way that you can recruit and build your team. The next source is going to be your Google Forms. Is your Google form. So your Google form is going to be key for a lot of reasons, because it is a way for you guys to get more names and numbers of people that you may not know are interested in the job. So kind of tying back to social media, Google Forms and social media kind of go hand in hand in everything that they do. So when you have them post on Snapchat, have them post a picture with a link to the Google form. And anyone who applies on that Google form is interested in learning more about the job. And those are people you can set up for interviews. So every training that I have, I usually get about 15 to 20 interested people that are friends of the people that went through training. Now, not a lot of people have names and numbers of their closest and best friends, but they have their Instagrams, their Snapchats, and their social media. So this is a way to get interested people and friends of friends on the team, and you can build your team and scale your team very quickly. So when I was running my branch office, I was really friends with this very popular girl. Her name was Laura Bauer. She went to Douglas County, and I was in Castle Rock at the time doing a branch manager. She went to Douglas County, and I had her and all of her friends post on social media for me, and they kickstarted my branch summer. And all the people that Laura had onto the team, they then did the same and then did the same. And I was able to build my team and grow my team exponentially. And my branch office sold $168,000. And about probably 120 of it came from Laura Bauer posting on her social media. And then the PR chains that followed the people that applied through Laura Bauer. And I give her all the credit and respect for having her post on social media. She really helped me out and saved me in that process. The next kind of source that recruits can come from is from campus. So these are your college recruits. These are people that go to your local colleges. So Pikes Peak Community College, Pueblo Community College, CSUP, FOCO, Boulder, UCCS. What we do is we print out these little flyers and these little cards, and we just walk around campus saying, hey, hope you have a great day. If you're interested in a job, here you go. Link to apply is on the back. And it's just a little card that has the QR code to your Google form, and people that started on campus, whether it's your local high schools or your colleges. So now in the fall campaign, we focus heavy on campus and campus recruiting. In the springtime, we focus a lot on high school seniors because they're going to be graduating and going to college as well. And college kids also need a job to pay their way through school, and it's a huge resume build and a huge resume opportunity for them to start this job. So for you guys as branches, you guys aren't going to be recruiting too heavy from your colleges. Now you can go to social media and follow them on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and then send them a message. And that's how you can kind of get your college kids and your campus kids. That's another kind of like workaround and a little loophole to that process as well. But for our branches, mainly you guys are going to be focusing on your local high schools. You're going to be focused on your local high schools and your main high schools. So you guys can, when you guys come back on spring and winter breaks, or if you guys leave school a little bit early, I know some of our schools get out late May, sometimes even June week 1. So when you guys come back to school, I'll help you guys with the high school recruiting process, who to reach out to, talking to senior classes, focusing on DECA programs, stuff like that. So that's kind of our campus aspect, which doesn't pertain to you guys so much, but it's still a source to add into our recruiting. And then the last one, the sixth one, is going to be our web. And then I'll just put CL for Craigslist. So Craigslist and web. So anyone that is looking for a job and applies online, Vector has job postings on Craigslist, any type of recruiting source for people looking for jobs. You can look up how to sell Cutco, or like I need a virtual hybrid job, and it'll pop up. And these are people that automatically get booked for our interviews, and we don't really have to do anything for them. And that's why I kind of saved them for last, is because should be the icing on top of your cake. Right now, PR, social media, your 3 ways, people that apply on the Google form, and your campus, those are going to be your main 5 sources of how to get people into the job. But the web and Craigslist are people that are looking for this type of work, and that's just the sugar added on top. So those are kind of like our 6 ways that we can add onto this funnel to get more people to call. So next thing I kind of want to go ahead and talk about is, once you have a bunch of people's names and numbers, how do we set them up for the interview? So we call this blitz. So what a blitz is when you sit down and call a bunch of PRs and call your Google forms and call the names and numbers of people that you had applied to the job. And and the importance of blitz is that if you're not actively recruiting and building your team, then you're not going to have anyone coming in the door. You're going to have low set for trainings, and your office is going to suck ass. So the importance of Blitz is getting all the names and numbers that you worked hard to get from all those different sources and all those different ways of recruiting into the door. And we will have a separate video on how to Blitz, the importance of Blitz, and our Blitz scripts, and just kind of the things that you can do in that. That's going to probably be tagged into our Vector Live kind of recruiting aspect of it and how to set people up for interviews. But recruiting is the answer. You want a big funnel, add in all of our recruiting sources, and then give those people a call and set them up for training and set them up for interviews. Now, this is going to be a super key and important skill to learn. So can you have an elevator pitch where I say, hey, call this person. I want you to book them up for an interview in less than 5 minutes. Can you call them and book them? Right. And just making the phone ring, just like how you guys call to set people up for demos. This is calling and setting people up for interviews. It's the same skill. It's the same skill, just a different shape. So that's why I put a big emphasis on closing, phoning, and recommendations, because if you can call and book people for demos, you can call and book people up for interviews as well. But as a branch manager, I want you to be an active recruiter. If you focus on nothing else but recruiting, everything else will fall into place. All your other systems will fall into place. Everything else will be perfect and will be golden. But you need people in front of you to do all the other things that we're going to be talking about, such as confirmation calls, post screens, interviews, training, AT1 and 2, getting people to 10K. If you don't have anyone in front of you, those systems and those programs can be awesome, but they're going to waste if no one's in front of you for you to teach them these things. So have a big recruiting mindset. A small army or a big army always beats the small army 10 times out of 10. And you guys want to have a freaking squad of just 100, 200, 300, 500 reps on your team that are actively doing the job. And the people that tend to win Silver Cups, the people that tend to do the best here, they win Silver Cups. So for example, Alexander Sylvester, he's one of my friends. He actually just won a Silver Cup last year in 2022. And he recruited and had over 500 people launch from his office. He had 5 people in training and doing their first demo, and he kicked everyone's butt because he had a bigger army than everybody else because he focused on recruiting. Michael Hall, who is also one of our Silver Cup winning branch managers, at least I spoke too soon. At the time of this recording, he's #1 in the Silver Cup race. But the reason why he put himself at #1 so far for this year is because he focused on recruiting, he focused on PRs, he focused on social media and those 6 recruiting funnels, and his office is doing well in turn. So if you're not good at anything else in the business, like rep management, training, teaching, coaching, any of that, if you focus on recruiting, the right people will get it, the right people will show up, and they will sell. So that's everything I got for you on recruiting and recruiting mindset.